So, are we going to talk about Night of the Seven Kingdom, or
Oh yeah, that's what we're talking about. We were talking about the last thoughts you had on it. Now you said you don't think Night of the Seven Kingdoms comes close to the first four seasons of Game of Thrones.
no? In terms of popularity, no
Oh,
shot.
popularity.
Popularity. If we're also talking about in terms of like what was better, Game of Thrones season one or Night of the Seven Kingdoms, I think season one Game of Thrones is way better. What annoys me the most about the fandom now is that everyone's just doing. Everyone has like a lack of nuance. It's either you really love something or you really hate it.
Yeah.
No shot. Night of the Seven Kingdoms season one is better than Game of Thrones season one. No
No, I would
fucking
not. I would
shot.
not put it. I would put it. I would rank it. I think this was asked to me before, and I would rank it fourth. I would say. I think I said Game of Thrones season one, Game of Thrones season two, Game of Thrones season three, Night of the Seven Kingdoms season one. I think that's my order on.
You know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair ranking. What would be
Yeah.
number five though, since we're doing like top five?
Um, this was where it gets iffy. Like, do I rank Game of Thrones season four higher than House of the Dragon season one? Like
I
what?
would.
You know, that's the issue. I mean, granted, like season four has got a lot of problems. Season four also has fucking Pedro Pascal as Oberyn Martell. You're like, oh right, the thing that the season that launched 1,000 movies, with starring Pedro Pascal. Like sometimes I forget like how huge season four was, but maybe I'd put season four and then House of the Dragon season one, House of the Dragon season two. Then I would go season five, season six, season seven, season eight. But I know that you like season six, right?
Fuck no, I like season five just fine.
You like season five?
Yeah, but we need to do a rewatch of season five. We got to do like a commentary track of that shit. We got to finish that. But
Considering season five, is it really that bad?
you know what? The problem I have with season five is that season five is where we had like a fucking flood of new YouTubers coming in. And
Yeah.
it just, everyone was just saying the same thing. The sand snakes suck. Yeah, we get it. Sand snakes suck. What else you got? Season five had a lot of good stuff. In regards to Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which is the title of your stream,
Yes.
is it safe to say that we were wrong about the audience reception to Night of the Seven Kingdoms? Because we thought casual fans would be bored. Like hardcore fans, we knew they would like it. We thought casual fans would be kind of bored, but no, they fucking love the shit out of it.
I mean, I suppose a little wrong. I mean, I think I was much wronger about House of the Dragon. I did not think House of the Dragon was going to be the huge success it was. And it was. House of the Dragon got huge ratings numbers. Night of the Seven Kingdoms got pretty good ratings numbers. Probably slightly better than what I expected. But it's not blockbuster House of the Dragon numbers, right? For the money they spent, maybe. But obviously in my personal life, like I'm I'm the guy with the YouTube channel, on Game of Thrones. Like, and so people do say like normies do say to me like, oh yeah, is that show good? I was thinking about watching it. I was like, yeah, no, it's pretty good. I think you should watch it. They're like, oh, but I just want to wait for all the episodes to be out so I can binge it. I'm like, well, they're all out now. Like that. These are the things that like normies ask me. So it is something that everyone's planning to watch, getting around, like, if it turned out to be good, that kind of thing. So
I don't feel like this is an unpopular opinion, but I feel I agree with you that House of the Dragon season one got a lot of hype, but I feel as though Night of the Seven Kingdoms season one should have had more hype than House of the Dragon season one did.
Yeah.
Like a Night of the Seven Kingdoms, I feel like earned it. It has no bad episode. Like the first two episodes were a little slow,
it's true.
But
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, as much as my season, my K7K watch like pokes fun at it. Overall, it's a really good show. And what I can say that's kind of special about Ira Parker's work versus Ryan Condal is that like Ira Parker created a lot of scenes out of nowhere, completely out of nowhere. And the new scenes that he added were mostly really good. In fact, some of them were the best scenes of the series. The Ira Parker created scenes. And I'm giving Ira Parker all the credit for whatever, the entire cast of writers or whatever. But when you think of like scenes like Dunk and Sir Arlen by the tree and him telling about the penny tree and Dunk like asking him why he was never knighted. You know, like that's not in the source material, and that's a beautiful fucking scene. Or the entire flashback of King's Landing and Dunk being sad about his mom and him dealing with his girlfriend and her dying and stuff like that and how painful that was. Like, that's pretty good. That's a really good flashback considering it's all fucking original shit, you know? Like, that was great. You know, do you have that kind of, like, even when we're talking about Game of Thrones, yeah, there's a couple nice scenes. Like, oh, it was really nice when Tywin and Arya, they're back and forth. Oh, that scene with Robert and Cersei in season 1 is really nice. But at the same time, like, it's not, you know, one of the best scenes of the entire series, right? Like, Ira Parker's, like, scenes were some of the best in the entire series. His original creations were some of the best of the entire series. So that's pretty impressive. So I'll give him that, you know. So.
Well, Dave and Dan did the same thing. They had a lot of great original scenes, and Ryan
they did. They
Condal
had some
every
great
now
original
and then.
scenes, but they were never the best scenes. They were never the best.
That's a debate. But sure.
Yeah.
That's also, well, to be fair, that's also a little unfair considering a lot of the greatest scenes in Game of Thrones season 1 also come from George.
That's the thing is, like, it's the source material is stronger. It's like you can't. How is he supposed to compete with like Dany coming out of the pyre with little dragons on her back? Like, how can he fucking right? You know, like right? Like, how can he fucking compete? Well, Night of the Seven Kingdoms, like Hedge Knight doesn't have any scenes like that, you know. So, you know,
it's a more simplistic story. But again, you and I were wrong as to how much the casuals would like it, and so was George R. Martin. When HBO came to him for prequel ideas, he said, "Oh, you want something with dragons and, you know, this and this."
Yeah, we briefly before we got on stream, Carmine and I were talking about this. We cut off our conversation. We're like, we need to save this for stream. What did the casuals like about Night of the Seven Kingdoms that made it connect with them? And like, because you're like, okay, there's no tits and dragons. So, because with Game of Thrones, you're like, oh, the casuals came for the tits and dragons. But here, no tits and dragons. So what did they come for? And the things that I hear people complimenting were all like the connection between Dunk and Egg, the connection between Dunk and Sir Arlen, like all of the schmaltzy stuff. The schmaltzy, like riding off into the sunsets, like the music, like, and you forget that like casuals like schmaltzy stuff. Like schmaltzy stuff is a winning fucking formula. And they figured that out and they threw, I mean, Hedge Knight is not schmaltzy. like it's not schmaltzy at all. The schmaltziness, if it's there, is 2 layers of subtext beneath everything, you know, like when Dunk is thinking about Sir Arlen, you know, you forget that casuals like schmaltzy stuff. They don't just like tits and dragons.
They also like none of the stuff that you cared about in Hedge Knight. You cared about can a man change, the dragonfly thing, Dunk being born. They cared about none of that, and they were all cheering, you know, Lionel Baratheon, the fucking
Lionel Baratheon. Here we go. Show creation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing.
Love that stuff.
Ira Parker created Lionel Baratheon. Yes, I understand the characters in the fucking Hedge Knight. No, but Lionel Baratheon, show Lionel Baratheon is show fucking Lionel Baratheon. I mean, you can say that like, okay, how much of Pedro Pascal is in Oberyn Martell? And I would say they are very different characters, show Oberyn and book Oberyn. And a lot of show Oberyn is Pedro Pascal's charisma. But at the same time, the crossover between book Oberyn and show Oberyn, there's a lot of crossover. While show Lionel Baratheon and book Lionel Baratheon, who has 5 lines, there's not much crossover. Like, show Lionel Baratheon is so likable and carries the fucking show. People love the show because of fucking Lionel Baratheon. He's essentially an Ira Parker creation, or the actor creation, because he was so fucking charming.
It's a very simplistic story. Dunk is very lovable. Lionel is great.
Yeah, great
Raymond
casting.
Awesome.
The thing is, I would say, like, one of the things that like saves the show, and like I say, like, I think the reason the show succeeded is because of Ira Parker's decisions. His casting, his extra scenes, his dialing the schmaltz up, like all of those things appealed to the average person. And, you know, like, look, I love, like, I've said this a million times, I'm a broken record. I love the Hedge Knight. I'm not sure if the Hedge Knight was really actually put on screen, especially thematically. I'm not sure if the Hedge Knight would have translated well to the screen, and Ira Parker didn't necessarily translate it, but he put something on there that really appealed to people. So he knew what to do.
And as such, everything that people liked about it was not exactly what you liked about the book, but it still worked very well.
Like I say, they're very different things.
Mm-hmm.
I can like them both, but they're very different things. I scratch my head at all the reviewers that are like, it's so beautifully, it's so perfectly adapted, and everything that they put on enhances the source material. I'm like, no, they just didn't fucking do the source material. That's fine. It's fine to not adapt the source material, but just admit that it's not adapted. Like, it's fine. It's still a good show. It's still a good show. It's just not it's not a great adaptation. Yeah.
He really did fix a couple of things that the Hedge Knight didn't do as well. For example, Dunk and Egg, their whole friendship.
Dunk and Egg's
my God.
Absolutely.
Highlighting the Apple Boy, highlighting Lionel, like all these characters.
Oh, absolutely. Like, giving these secondary characters more personality and more time to shine. Absolutely. But
I will say there is one complaint I do have, is that while he highlighted all these secondary characters, I wish he gave more time to other characters like Beesbury. Who I guess, Beesbury is kind of like Boba Fett. Boba Fett didn't get that much screen time, but everybody loved him anyway because he was so like crazy looking. Beesbury, same thing.
Gets his fucking line. Gets his one line, and then
like Valar. I wish Valar had more screen time. I wish Robin Risling had more screen time. I wish Harding had more screen time.
Absolutely, and the thing is, they had the time. They had the time. They could have, Wednesday says there wasn't enough jousting. There was some jousting. We saw some jousting. Jousting's super expensive, though. I mean, come on. But we got some jousting. We got it.
Television right now, by the way, is way more fucking expensive. Did you see what Seth MacFarlane said about his TV show Ted?
No, tell me.
So Seth MacFarlane just released season 2 of the television show Ted, and he said that season 2 is going to be the last one because everything is so expensive. I'm quoting him. He said it's like creating 22 minutes version of the Avengers every episode because of how expensive and how much time and work and effort goes into it. And I'm like, really, on this fucking teddy bear show?
Yeah, no, I was reading an article with Ira Parker talking about season 2 and how he thought season 2 was going to be much cheaper than season 1 because it's in the middle of nowhere. There's not the incredible sets. There's not the jousting and all that shit. And he said that, unfortunately, the costs of season 2 are going to probably reach not quite season 1, but they're approaching it, he said. And the reason was because there's more egg. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Well, so I'll explain it. Because Egg is a child actor, there's a limited number of hours he is allowed to work a day, and then they have to shut everything down. And so you have to have people more days. They can't, you're paying people the same amount of money, but they're only working half days because egg is only allowed to work a certain number of hours. And so
That sucks.
because he has to go to school, he has to have a tutor and do schooling and things like this. There's laws that you can't like just exploit children and destroy their future by having them work all day. You can work them a certain number of hours because they have to worry about things like education. So he said because there's more egg in season 2, the entire cast, like all of the camera work, microphones, everybody has to be there, but they can't film the whole day. They're still, having those costs. So season 2 is actually going to be nearly as expensive as season 1, despite the fact that they're in the fucking middle of nowhere with no jousts. Like,